In this tutorial in Cyberlink PowerDirector, we're going to look at two ways in which you can create transitions and apply them to shapes. We're going to show you several quick examples and then we'll get to the tutorial. On track number 1, I have this video of a couple walking on a beach toward a ship. And what I'd like to do in this case is take this and use it as a promo for the beach. So we're going to add some shapes. I go to my pip object room or video overlay room. I can press the F5 function key or click the icon on the left side. Now let's start out with a couple of elements in my subcategory called custom that I've already made. I'm going to take one and I think we'll use this one called secluded beaches. And I'll drag and drop that down on track number 2. I have another one here called phone, which is a phone number. We'll take and drag that down on track 2 as well. And for the third one, I'm going to go from the custom category to the object category called callout pack. There we go. And I'm going to pick number, I believe 84 I looked at before. And we'll take and drag this call out down as well. Then I'll change the duration of that one. I'll click on my time code from 10 seconds. Let's shorten that to 4 seconds and press enter. So now I have 3 different shapes and I want to transition them. I can do that in several different ways. Let's look at a couple. First of all, let's take the secluded beaches transition that I have here. This is my shape and I'd like to use it in a different way than before. Let's bring this in not with a transition but with a mask. Now in PowerDirector 20 and PowerDirector 365 you now have the opportunity to mask a shape. So to do that I'm going to highlight the shape and click on the Tools menu above the timeline and I'll choose the Mask Designer. Again, you need the most recent version of PowerDirector to do this. Now I'm in my Mask Designer, and what I'd like to do is create a mask. So I'm going to move to the left side. Let's do a custom one. I'll click on the right icon below the list of options. I'll create this mask. We'll have it come out from the right side of the trunk of the palm tree. So I'm going to click and set some points for the shape of my mask along the trunk of the tree. And then we'll set one to the right and go up and then reconnect it to the start. That's my mask. I'm done there, so all I'll do is click on OK. And now I will not see my secluded beaches because they're outside the mask. So I click on that. We'll double click into our shape. And now I'm going to take the shape and move it to where the mask is, and now I will see it. What I want to do is keyframe my shape so it will seem to come in from the palm tree and slide to the right. In order to do that, I'll click on the Keyframe tab on the left side and I'll find the frame where I want that to be there. Let's go in about this far and I'll set a position keyframe here, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning and set another position keyframe. I'm looking at my Y value is 464 on the decimal side, so we'll drag this back to the left. And I want to make sure this is 464 so it will come in horizontally. So I'll replicate that number on the Y value. And then when I stop this and play, we'll see that the shape, when it's keyframed, will come in from behind the palm tree. I like that. I'll click on OK. And now when I play this in the context, we'll see the couple run on the beach and we'll see the element come in and show us what we can do using that kind of masking as a transition. Now let's take the second element we have here, the second shape, which is a phone number. Here we're going to use a more traditional approach. I'm going to click on the transition pack And let's take something in my transitions here like a swirl. I'll take this one and drag it. We'll put it on the front end of my shape. And I'll play it. And then we'll see there's our phone number. It comes swirling in. So you can use any transition that you see will fit and apply it, in that case, on any of your shapes. Let's take the third call out. And the third call out says add title here. We're going to modify that one. I'm going to double click and get into my shape designer again. And one of the things I want to change is I don't want this area coming out, so we're going to change the kind of shape it is. I'll go to just the rectangle, or I can go to the rounded rectangle. Either way, we'll change the position of it. We'll move it over to the right just a bit, and then we'll change the text. And then when I'm done, I'll click on OK. I could save it if I wanted to. Now I'm going to apply a mask to the third shape that I have here, my callout pip 84. The way to do that is highlight it and then click on my Tools button again above the timeline and choose Mask Designer again. That will open up my Mask Designer window. We're going to keyframe this, so I'm going to start out with a rectangular mask. I'll simply click on my large rectangle, and I want to change the location and the shape of the mask. I want to make it so that the mask is centered on my object. And we'll drag in from the left and drag in from the right. And it doesn't really matter how close I get to it, but I want it to be equal on all sides. So here's my mask. So let's start out. We'll put our playhead at the beginning of the shape and do a scale keyframe. Then I'm going to move in a little bit. Let's move in just over a second. And I'll set another scale keyframe, but we're going to change the value with the second one. So I'm going to drag down in the larger slider on the left side, go to my mask scale. I'm going to uncheck mask aspect ratio. And now we'll take the height. We could take the height or the width, either one. We'll take the height and we'll make it as small as we possibly can. So when we stop this, go back to the beginning and play, what we'll see is it will start out and then it will shrink. So that's an interesting kind of transition where it kind of collapses from the bottom and the top. So as we play this transition on the regular screen, we have our special prices and then it shrinks down. Now obviously, if I were doing this real time, I would have it on the screen for longer, which means all I have to do is move the keyframes. Those are three different ways, two using masks and one using a regular transition, that you can now apply transitions to shapes in PowerDirector 20 or 365.